All right. Hi, everyone. This is Vicki Draper, and
Ariel, Hubbard, Happy New Year.
that's
Woohoo!
right. Happy New Year. We are here to talk about health and wellness for you and your animals for 2022.
Woohoo!
And I don't know about you, but my year has started out like put the seatbelt on. It's
Been a
it's
bumpy ride. Yes, it has. It's been a crazy ride. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with COVID. There's a lot going on with the weather. There's a lot of other things going on. So we are here to give you guys some tips, ideas, and suggestions for health and wellness, but also for a little goal setting too for health and wellness for the coming year.
Yes. And what you may not have thought about is everybody sets goals for them personally. And so I want to bring to your consciousness setting goals for you with your animals
Right?
because they are an important part of your family and you know that. And you're taking care of them. And so let's just make it intentional so that it's even better care.
That's fantastic. I love that, Vicki, because how many people actually think about what they're going to be doing for their animals during the coming year? I've never heard of anyone setting goals for that. And a lot of us, we're still finishing up all our parties and vacations. And a lot of us haven't even thought about our goals for 22. I heard something crazy. I heard when people make New Year's resolutions, they usually give up on them 80% by mid-February. So we wanted to come up with some ideas and tips for you to think about something that's actually realistic that you're actually going to implement and that you will do. So
yeah. So right. I want to add on that what you'll actually do and feel good about it, because I know for me personally, if I set a goal or intention and it's really big and then I'm not following through, then I start beating myself up. And that's not, we're changing that.
Yes.
We are changing that. So we're going to give simple, easily things to do, and because this is the new year.
And exactly. So one of my mentors, he's fantastic. His name's John Lee, and I've got some really great questions from him from a course that I took yesterday. And these are pretty practical. Again, this is stuff that's actually going to help you follow through on what you're thinking that you're going to do. So what do you want in your life? People divide goals into different types of goals. You can do that if you want to, but what do you want? Do you want physical health? Do you want great connections with others? Do you want abundance and prosperity? Do you want to be creative? And then why? Why do you want it? That's really important. I think if you know why, then you won't get in your own way and self-sabotage and prevent yourself from accomplishing your goal. And then the other thing is, like, when are you going to do it? And so we'll come back to that in just a minute. But here's a great example. Exercise, that's a big thing that a lot of people have, right, as a goal, is what do you want? Well, do you want to I'm not going to say lose weight, because it's actually change your contours. Losing weight is a misnomer. It has more to do with how you feel and what's going on inside your body than it has to do with, quote, losing weight. But most people want to make some changes in how they feel physically. And so what I always tell people is do something that you're going to do consistently. So I looked up online, did some research, and the recommendation is 30 to 45 minutes of walking or some kind of daily activity like yard work or whatever. But how many of us are actually going to do that? So really think about what your why is. And I'm thinking about, for all of our pet guardians or animal guardians, exercise is a great way to connect with your pet, right, Vicki?
Oh, absolutely. And so, like, for example, I play with my cats before I feed them, because that it's a nice bonding. So we start off the day bonding, and then it's following their natural instincts of hunting. They're hunting for their food, and then they get their food. And I tell you, that's enriched my life when I started doing that. Because like I said, I'm starting out with play and connection, and it just sets the tone for the day.
Oh, it really does. That's funny you mentioned that. I play with my tween before I feed him too.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes he
This
pretends to
works
be
for
a cat.
2 and 4-legged.
And sometimes he
Absolutely.
pretends to be a cat. So it fits right in with what you just shared. Right? They have to go hunt and then
Right.
they capture their prey and then they eat. I love that. That totally makes sense.
And then the walking, it's great for you dog guardians because it helps you get out and stay consistent because they need daily walks. Even if you have a big fenced yard and they're out playing, they need that consistent exercise. And so they may be laying down, they may not be getting that full, complete energy burn they need to get that excess energy out that will cause acting out if they don't get it out of their system. That's when they get in mischief. So having a dog is a great way to make sure you get your walks because it's like multiple times a day you're out taking them.
Right.
And
100%.
I'll tell you, the animals know. Like my sister walks my mom's dog, and he goes in there and he's looking at her. She's working from home right now, and so if she's not coming at their regular time, I mean, he's disappointed.
Right.
They know and they look forward to it. So, she was sharing this with me yesterday that she didn't get to do it at her regular time, and then he was so disappointed.
He's giving her the old stink eye. He's like giving her the eye. I've heard of some dogs getting their leashes and putting them in their mouths and carrying them to their guardians. That's awesome.
Well,
But most people don't think about exercising their cats though. You know what I mean? Most people don't think about, well, how do I take care of my cat? Right?
Yeah. Play.
I love
chasing a toy or chasing.
Do you have any favorite cat toys that you use with them? Do you have things that you like?
Well, this is a great tip because each animal is different. So, but I have 2 cats, and each of them, the toy they like, their hunting styles are a little different. And so it's fun to get into explore and find that because one of mine likes to jump. So if I kind of wave it in the air and he jumps and jumps, and the other one likes it more on the floor. And I have this little crinkle one that the eyes just light up when that comes out. I mean, it's just over excitement, and it's so fun to see that. So I know for one of them, I'm doing more jumping things, and the other one I'm keeping it more on the ground and having their chase. And
that's great. So like for you, if you're looking at what do you want and why do you want it, you're looking at for an exercise goal, you're looking for like connection, you're looking for, getting some exercise, elevating your mood, making sure cats are taken care of. Those are all things. And then why are you doing it? Because you want everybody to be happy and healthy.
Yes. And so with cats,
right?
Since I don't have the dog to walk,
right.
I do my own walking and stuff, but
right.
my cats are getting their needs met, and which is
right.
making me happy because when our animals are happy as animal guardians, we're happy.
It's kind of like when mama's happy, everybody's happy. I think that's with the pets too, right?
Yeah.
And like, so you're going to do this daily. What do you recommend? I think you mentioned dogs need walks every day, right?
Yeah. Oh, and they need multiple
potty breaks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, a lot of people, it's first thing in the morning, let them go out, go to the bathroom. Then probably mid-morning, you can do a longer walk, but then you can do shorter walks to let them, like I said, do their potty break. But 2 long walks, just like before bed, because then they're not getting you up in the night.
No, that's a really good point. That's especially if it's like really cold out too.
Yeah, and if you get in a routine, then their potty habits become routine.
That totally makes sense.
Because you'll want to do it, a little after eating.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about transmit time. So you guys, we have a reflex. All mammals have a reflex, which is if you eat something, your intestines release the contents so that you have room for what you've just eaten to go through your digestive tract. So this applies to us, and it also applies to our animals because they're mammals too, right? So what Vicki just said makes a lot of sense. And if your transmit time for your own body is good, you usually get a reflex to go to the restroom right around the time that you're eating, or even think. Amazing. So you'll probably notice that for the animals as well. That's important also. Also, those are pets. Like I think you mentioned something about healthy food, which I thought was great.
Yes, because we as people, we think about our food, and so diets or weight consciousness thoughts come in for the new year, setting expectations. So exercise and food we think about. So it's the same for the animals. We've talked about the exercise. So food. There's a lot of healthy, good food out there for our animals, and there's a lot of junk food out there for our animals.
So interesting.
And so the more natural it is, the healthier it is. And so,
what do you mean by natural? Okay, because I think cats and dogs have slightly different diets, right?
well, that's
they're both
where
carnivores, right?
they do. Dogs can eat vegetables and meat. Cats have to be very meat focused, because in the wild, so if you take the nature model, the wild model, what are they doing? Like, what do wild dogs eat and what do wild cats eat? They're catching their prey and they're eating it. And so raw food diets that are from very healthy protein sources are the healthiest.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of controversy, but I can tell you, doing the physical massage with the animals, I can tell you who's on a raw diet and who's not, just by looking at their coat and palpating their muscles. I mean, it really makes a difference. So it's like our organic. And not everybody's lifestyle can do raw. And then you want to get a really healthy, minimal ingredient food that's pure food and pure, healthy proteins. The sources of protein, very healthy, and the sources, then for dogs, the vegetables, healthy.
Right.
And that would be like our organic line. So you can get canned foods that are, or you can get minimally processed. There's a local pet store that does slow cooked food for the people that don't want to do raw, because then all the nutrients are staying in the food.
Okay.
And then the next thing is, after that, is then to go to a canned food. But there again, you want to make sure the company, where they're getting their meat, where they're getting their ingredients, and that minimal, because there's a lot of fillers that go into a lot of food if you don't read the labels. Just like us now, we have to read the label.
Oh, wow.
You're like, oh my gosh, what
Who knew?
Right. Oh, it's atrocious what some of the ingredients they put in animal food, just because they're animals. They think they can get away with it. And so
that's crazy. I'm going to jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't introduce ourselves at the beginning of this talk.
I know. We said,
I know, right?
Ariel,
so I thought,
but
I'm gonna let's talk about that for a minute. So Vicki Draper has been working as an animal healer and massage therapist for a really long time. How long have you been working with animals for?
22 years.
A year.
Well, professionally, 22 years, all my life as a child.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I've been doing energy work. This is year 33 for me, and massage, this is year 27, I think, for me professionally. So we both work with, basically we have healing practices for pets and people. And so that's why we're talking about these things. I'm actually a holistic health practitioner, not just a massage therapist. So I do a lot of lifestyle, you could say, consulting and check-ins with people, because we usually, when they come in with some kind of imbalance or health issue, it's because of their lifestyle, not just like, oh, they just need a massage. And I do massage. I also do energy healing. I also do hypnotherapy because it depends on whatever the issue is. Some of these issues show up physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and same thing for animals, right, Vicki? So you work with them. And
Absolutely.
yep,
And then
yep,
there's one thing that distinguishes my work is it started out working with the animal, and now I work with the family as a system.
yep.
So I work with
Women
the
rights.
guardian and the animal, or if there's multiple animals, because one may have a specific physical issue, but then that's still all the dynamics are still impacted. So whether it's physical or behavioral, you know, so it's deepened in looking at the whole picture so you can get a core result.
Of course. And, you know, in the HUNA model, they also do that. They look at the whole family, not just the one person. So it's so great that you're doing that also. So for these tips that we're giving for everybody, this is just so we can help you guys get off to a good start, because a lot of us don't realize how many artificial, you know, components are in pet food. My gosh, you know, that's not even something that people think about. I'm going to just bring in a practical thing, and this is for people as well as animals. You're going to laugh. It's about insurance. Okay. So we just had, and I think this is a national thing. We just had a period of renewal for health insurance. And for those of you out there, if you don't have health insurance, you might want to contact a broker to see if you can still get in on that. But did you guys know there's pet insurance? Isn't that crazy? The thing is, when the calendar year turns, a lot of these policies are up for renewal, and sometimes the prices go up, sometimes they go down, but this applies for pet insurance too. So you guys might want to think about just checking on your policy for your pet, because as you know, if you're an animal guardian, vet care is pricey. And, you know, I'm usually for good reason, but it's pricey. So pet insurance is kind of important.
It
And
is,
Vicki,
and
right?
go ahead. And I actually take
Yes.
pet insurance because I work locally. I have my distance virtual clients, and those that are local can see me in person at the Animal Healing Center in Redmond, Washington. And there I can take pet insurance because I'm working, you know, out of the vet clinic.
That is so fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the ability to go see her in person, she also does virtual work. And I do also. We both work in person and at a distance to make a difference for people. And I'm so glad that you work with the families of pets also, because I've also worked with pets. I took a canine massage class, but not like you do. I do that, you know, usually when I go see the animal guardian, I also notice something's going on with the pet, and I'll say something like, hey, is your animal getting care it needs? And then that happens. But that, for me, that's the exception. Normally I'm focusing on the animal guardian. And I had another question, because you had mentioned this when we were prepping for today. What's a healthy weight for pets? Because you'd mentioned something about that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that either.
Oh, well, dogs are a little different than cats, but for dogs, you may see a little of the ribs. It's just very, very lean. And so a lot of animals are overweight, according to, you know, vets and their standard.
That's
Because
interesting.
we don't know it, right? Because then, if you're seeing full rib, that's way too thin. But you know, you want to see the outline. You know,
Wow.
you're seeing, well, you're seeing them, and so it's
Right.
tone and tone.
So you're seeing their muscle tissue,
Yeah,
not just like the
the
adipose,
muscle
which is fat
definition.
over top of it. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a great
and it's
guideline, because there's so
harder.
many different breeds, right? So many. So
Yes,
that's a
it's
great
harder
guideline.
to know when they're the thicker fur, because then they can hide stuff under there. So there you're going to feel, you know.
Okay.
But
I love that.
most people, like I said, their animals may be just a little over, and a little's not a big deal, but they have issues just like we do. If they've got too much weight, then it's more on their heart, it's more on their joints, you know, it just impacts the quality of health.
Totally.
And cats can get bigger easier because their lifestyle is more sedentary. So that's where you've got to do food portions.
Uh-huh.
And so there is a danger in an overweight cat, well, other than the health issues, the major health issues of being overweight, but in the wild, cats don't get fat. They starve, they kill their prey, they eat, they're always lean. And so when you've got to watch, you cannot put a cat on a strict diet quickly. You've got to do gradual, because otherwise their body's going to go into shock because it's not natural for it now.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's a serious issue.
So you have to wean them. You have to like slowly wean them into smaller portions.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't
That's
just,
interesting.
like us, we can just do it fast, or we can do whatever, or, or cut down portions significantly, not for cats at all.
Oh, wow. So if you want to know what that looks like, you can reach out to Vicki for a consult. Vicki, how do people reach you?
You go to my website, healingyouranimal.com, and on there, there's a contact us, and it'll have my email, has my phone number, or you can sign up for my complimentary assessment. And so you do that all off my webpage.
That's fantastic. And also on Vicki's webpage are prior replays, because we do this talk once a month. And so you can listen to prior talks, and we talk about a whole variety of different topics, everything from like you could call them like physical issues, like what we're talking about today, to the esoteric and the spiritual aspect of things. So we talk about a whole range of different topics. You can listen to that. And if people want to find me, you can find me on arielhubbard.com. That's Ariel like the Little Mermaid and Hubbard like Old Mother Hubbard.com. That's pretty straightforward, which is great. I'm going to jump in real quick about some other things regarding goals. So here's the thing. When you're working on goals for you or your pet, you want to think about taking aligned action. And aligned action is where you're taking like you know what you want, you know why you want it. You're looking at what are you going to do to have that, and then what actions will you take, their alignment with your values. So sometimes when people have time management challenges, it's because they spend time on things that are not aligned with what they want to accomplish. And it's really important to say, well, okay, if I want to achieve a certain goal, what am I going to do? Like if I want fitness, what does that look like? Is that a walk for 30 minutes, 5 days a week? Is that what that looks like? But then you need to put it into your calendar and not on a to-do list. Okay. So you can make a to-do list if you want. I don't bother with those. I mean, I have them, but I don't use those. If I want to get something done, I schedule it, because the problem is there's our conceptual idea of what we want to accomplish. And then there's implementation. That's aligned action. It's an action that's aligned with your values that you actually input into your calendar. And then you actually do what you said you were going to do. And you do it when you said you were going to do it. In preparation for our talk, Vicki and I had a conversation about time management, and we had a conversation about, the consequences of time management, poor time management, I should say. And when people don't show up on time, when they don't do what they said they were going to do, when they don't think about what they want to create and then how they're going to do it and put that into their calendar, they never get stuff done. They also disrespect the time of other people when they do that as well. And that leads to, alienation or a limitation on the relationships, because they upset people because they're not respecting their time. And that is so important. Pets don't have a conversation around time like we do, but they do have a conversation around routine. And they can feel when it's time to go, like you said, take a walk, or it's time to eat, because their body does have a circadian rhythm like ours does. Right. So the thing is, like, what aligned actions will you take this year? And, I'm sure, most of us have either heard someone talk about goal setting or heard someone talking about their goals. And the thing is, not everybody actually sets goals. But the thing is, if you set a goal, and I like talk about different types of goals. I talk about realistic goals. I talk about challenging goals, and I talk about crazy goals. And the thing is, A realistic goal is something you know you can do, and you will do it. A challenging goal is something that's definitely outside your comfort zone, but with a stretch and some behavior modification, you could probably make that happen. And crazy goals often rely on the decisions of other people, because we cannot control what other people do, right? We can only control what we do, right? So, just for this year, as you're thinking about what you're going to create, and I'm just going to give one other fun little tip. If you're a visual person and you're on Pinterest, you can use Pinterest to make your vision board. You can set up a Pinterest board, and you can literally search for images and pop it on your Pinterest board, and you can actually print that out. So if you don't have a lot of magazines anymore, that's one way to make a vision board for yourself. But also think about, like she said, what are you going to do for your pet? It's just something to think about. And you don't have to spend a lot of time doing this. You could spend an hour, 2 hours. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be a big process, right, Vicki?
Well, right. That's what I was going to add is, if you feel so time crunched, because a lot of people just feel they don't have time to do this or that. And so what I always say is start small.
Yeah.
Because then you build on it. And that's what's worked for me. Because if I try to jump too big, I'm scrambled. And so, for instance, one year I made a commitment to go. I live 3 miles down from a beach, and I love the water that just feeds me. So I made a commitment to do a walk every morning. And it's got a little loop thing and out over the water, which I love.
Nice.
And so some mornings I couldn't get up, but I went and I did one loop. It's like, okay.
That's awesome.
So then the next day I'd go, and if I got up in time to do more, I could do more. But by doing that, I kept my commitment to myself. And then I was able to then, work up to 4 or 5 loops and have this nice, wonderful morning walk every morning that I had wanted to create in my life.
And guys, do you know that when you accomplish a goal, you get a dopamine rush? So that's why kids love video games so much. Seriously, because it's all about accomplishing goals on video games.
Yeah. And so, so for your walk, so if you're starting a new walk, instead of, you don't have to say I'm going to do it 45 minutes, say I'm going to do it 5. And then 10. And then 10, right? Because then you're going to want to. You're out there, you're doing it, and you like it. Then it's just going to naturally increase.
Right, and your body will feel excited by doing that. You'll feel excited about wanting to do more, but you have to get started doing something. So definitely pick something you like. So I'm going to give you some ideas. We're talking about like different ideas for goals, like for exercise. So water aerobics is a great way to get a workout if you cannot do like aerobics, or if you're a bigger person and your joints hurt. I'm telling you, getting in the water is fantastic. There's walking, there's Tai Chi if balance is an issue. Some people do workouts at home. There's all kinds of stuff available now online. There's so many different things. Yoga works for some people it doesn't, right? If somebody's hypermobile, they should consider doing something working with weights, and versus like, they don't want to stretch more. And if you have chronic fatigue, exercise is not going to be a goal for you, because that's not helpful for you. Actually, you need to do other things. Some people, meditation's a goal. There are different ways to do that. Some people, increasing their income is a goal, or developing their business is a goal. There's so many different types of goals. I actually have a whole bunch of goals in different categories. And one of them is to have 4 vacations this year. That's a crazy goal for me. I have one already planned, but we don't know what's going to happen with all the unpredictabilities with COVID. So, it's like, well, that's why it's a crazy goal, because some of my choices depend on choices of the other people. But it's still okay to have a crazy goal, because even if you don't make the whole goal, if you did 50% of the goal, that's still further along than you would have been if you had done nothing. And it's good for your emotional health, and it's good for you to get away to focus, where you can take your goals and put them up. I have these gigantic stickies. They're like, I don't know, I think they're 2 by 3 feet. And I wrote my whole bunch of work and financial goals on there. and they're crazy goals. And I put them up on my doors in my bedroom. So every day I look at that, I see that every single day. And it's a good idea to have some kind of reminder somewhere so that your mind can think about it. The other thing is to do a visualization about what it's like when you have that goal. And then the other piece is once you achieve it, it's important to acknowledge that you achieved it. And then it's a good idea to look at, to evaluate, was getting that goal achieved, giving you what you actually wanted? Or are there changes that you could make? Is there something else you could be doing? Did you actually get what you wanted by accomplishing that goal? Now that's like a conversation, mid-year or end year. But some of us have goals, like my first vacation is in February. So like I'll be able to evaluate, did this work for me? Did this give me what I wanted? So, and the goal of that is to have fun, which is sorely needed right now, and to have a break in routine and take a rest from daily activity. And you guys, one of the biggest goals I think that is missed is having fun. So when you're an animal guardian, this is great, right?
Mhm. Absolutely, because
Yep.
play, when you are in play mode, you are 100% present. And our animals are always 100% present. And so they love it when we meet them where they are.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I taught a whole class on play, and the statistics were incredible that the average human were only present 50% of the time.
Oh, I believe that.
And so
If that,
play, right? So in play, you're 100%. So it's like
if you're
play.
living in the terror of getting socked in the head by a pillow at random times, like I am at my house,
Oh,
or a flying stuffed animal is going to be launched at you, it makes you really present. And I'm sure if your cat's going to jump on your foot and start biting it, you're more present. Maybe
well,
your cats don't act like that, but some people's cats do.
yeah. Well, I have an exercise called jumping for joy, and
Ooh,
I would put on when I have a golden retriever, I would put on a song and I'd just start dancing. And Sasha, my golden, would come out and she was just all bouncing and playing. And, it really made a difference. And so I tried that now with my cats because I thought, well, I know it works for dogs. Well, my cats, they did a little differently, but they came out and they're looking and they were engaging in their way. And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
oh, that is interesting. I love it. What a great tool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. So basically, if you ever need to elevate your mood, just turn on the music, start dancing. It works for you, and it might work for your pet too. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so fantastic. And Vicki, you had mentioned, ooh, is this letting the cat out of the bag? You mentioned you're working on a third book. I mean, is that okay for me to talk about?
It is.
Okay.
It's my official title's not right in my head because I wasn't no, we were going to talk about this. However,
Well, I know I
it
surprised
is
you. I'm sorry.
it's okay. It is relevant because what it is, it's on the chakras, the chakra
Oh,
system
that's
for
awesome.
you and your animals having health and wellness in your lives. And so, yes, my third book, it's already started. Loving it because uh, the chakras are phenomenal with all the chakras, the seven main ones in our body. Um, our whole life, our whole physical body, our whole health is attached to that or part of that. And so we want to keep it in balance. Well, it is
For
the same
sure.
for our animals. And so teaching that. And so I actually have a live course I teach that
Oh,
that
that's awesome.
the book's been created from, or is being created from. A lot of it's
So you already have the course available for people.
yes, and
So
so I have
they
another
could take
one
that. That's
coming.
the
I have
cool.
another, so I have my next class coming up March 1st, and it lasts for 8 weeks, and we go
That's
into
awesome.
each chakra in depth, and at the end, you and your animal are going to be, fully balanced in your chakras.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
It's so cool. I
it
love
is.
it.
It's a lot of fun, and I've taught it before a few times. Uh,
Great. And
and
so,
people have,
the
the people
book
have
will come
loved
out
it.
eventually. The
And so
book,
then the book, I'm in the decision of, is it maybe I may do it at the first of the year next year.
right.
Just yeah, I'm trying to decide if it's going to be this year or early next year.
Right, because they take time. So, I mean, I'm finishing up a book too. So for your human people, for human single people, I have a book called The Empowered Woman's Guide to Online Dating, Set Your BS Tolerance to Zero. And I've been in final edits for months because there's some things that pop up and I need to stick them in the book. So I'm in the final edits, then I'm going to format it, and then I'm going to digitize it, and then I'm going to make it available for people. So that will be announced when it's ready. It'll be up on my website. So you can find it on arielhubbard.com. And you guys, when you want to buy Vicki's book and she's ready to release it, whenever that is, that's going to be on healingyouranimal.com.
Well, it will. And who knows,
Right.
I may get ambitious and shoot for the summer. But
And she also has 2 other books, you guys. Then they're fantastic. I don't have one to show because it's downstairs in my library. But Vicki has some great books on care for animals. So definitely, you guys check it out. I think we've covered everything that we were going to talk about for today, didn't we? Did we talk about everything that you want to speak about?
yeah, I believe we did. Actually, yes. So
Yeah.
just want to say, if goals feel too big, if you're in overwhelm already, that's where you can get help. Ariel's great with working with people, getting you grounded, getting you focused. If you're having trouble with your pets and want support in getting things, orderly or organized or harmony,
Or
and then
emotionally balanced too, because you
and
work
then
with the emotions too. Yep.
emotions. Well, then the other thing is, one of the things I can do is test. I can match good healthy food for your animal, because there's a lot of healthy food out there, but if your animal is allergic to the protein source, you're going to get all kinds of issues, because it could be great food, but it may not be great food for your animal. And so there's a lot of support I do with helping the animals get through that, because once they get that, if they're eating a protein that's not healthy for their system, then the animals change, their digestion change, their demeanor, they don't have the allergies, so the diet is an important component.
It's
not
huge.
just feed them food.
Right. So reach out to Vicki and get a consultation. Let's do our websites one more time, and then we're going to finish up. So your website is
next month.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. We do this once a month, first Thursday of the month, usually around the 10 o'clock hour. So you guys can come and listen to more talks. But Vicki is at healingyouranimal.com.
It is. That's HEALINGYOURANIMAL.com. And you'll have all the information, all the ways to contact me and to sign up for your assessment.
Or take a class with her. Or
that's right. All my classes will be listed on there, and
or get your books.
Keep coming back, because I have multiple classes that I'm planning to teach this year, and going to be getting them added.
Are you teaching those live, or are you teaching them on Zoom?
Well, on Zoom live.
Okay, on Zoom live. Okay.
Zoom live.
So you guys can do this from the safety and privacy of your own home and still get educated.
Absolutely. And then it makes it nice, because then if you have multiple pets, they're all there. You don't have to pick which ones come into class.
Which is that's so great. And then I also teach courses online as well. You can find access to my classes and sessions in person or live at arielhubbard.com, ArielHubbard. Well, thanks so much, Vicki. That was so great. It was so great working with you, as always. Every time we have a talk, I always learn something new. You're a fountain of knowledge. It's so fantastic.
Same here. Love combining the people and the animals, because it's all connected, and you are very, very, very skilled at the people and what you do. And so highly recommend you checking out Ariel.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off. Thanks so much. And take care of yourselves until next month.
I know it. Bye.